a shocking terror plot exposed targeting Taylor Swift and the international leg of her Eras concert tour. Authorities in Austria now say two men were planning to attack the Vienna stadium where Swift was set to perform.
Those concerts have now been canceled, disappointing tens of thousands of her fans. KTLA's Chris Wolf is here in studio with the details. Chris.
Micah, Sandy, the pop superstar said years ago that her biggest concern was keeping her millions of fans safe at her concerts. Apparently, with caution, her team decided to cancel her 3 shows in Vienna, Austria. Ticket holders are getting automatic refunds. She's the biggest pop star in the world and the #1 recording artist, attracting millions, if not billions, of fans. But the celebration at one of her concerts could have turned to devastation had terrorists carried out an attack. Austrian law enforcement officials announced the arrests of 2 men in connection with alleged plans to launch attacks at major events in Vienna, including Swift's upcoming concerts at Ernst Happel Stadium. In response, the superstar and her team decided to cancel shows on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Investigators say one of the men arrested is a 19-year-old who pledged his allegiance to ISIS, the Islamic extremist group.
These 2 were self-radicalized. They had been operating over the internet. And so that means that the internet is not only a source of good information for everybody to use, but also can cause people to become obsessed with something like ISIS and decide that they want to join in on that.
Taylor Swift said years ago in a magazine article that her biggest fear was a terrorist attack at one of her concerts. She noted the deadly suicide bombing outside an Ariana Grande performance in Manchester, England, which killed 22 people, the youngest an 8-year-old, and injured more than 200 as they were leaving the singer's show. Swift also pointed to the shooting massacre in Las Vegas, which claimed the lives of 58 people and injured nearly 500 others who were attending an outdoor country music festival along the Vegas Strip.
And I don't know that Taylor Swift herself was the target, but I think a stadium of 65,000 people was their target. And what's most disturbing to me is that there were chemicals. I worked chemicals and toxins at the CIA. Those can become aerosolized and do a lot more damage than what we can normally see.
Swiftie and KTLA weathercaster Kirk Hawkins traveled overseas to catch Taylor Swift perform in Poland and was planning to get tickets to see her again in Austria before the chilling developments.
But obviously, it's one of those things where I believe you should have heightened awareness, a heightened vigilance in this kind of situation.
Austrian authorities say the 2 terror suspects had been under surveillance for some time. Investigators say they discovered chemical substances when the 19-year-old was arrested, and police are now trying to determine whether a bomb was part of the plan. U.S. officials say their Austrian counterparts are also looking for an additional person or people of interest who may have knowledge of the plans. I'm Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.